So, in the chapter, which is chapter number 10, talking about the emergency uh, planning and preparedness, in which cases possible emergencies, uh, fire explosion. In the next chapter, you will, as I told you, you will read about the fire and what types of fires are there and how to extinguish them, how can be controlled these fires, and explosion, what type of explosions are there, hazards are there. Then bombs, threats, sabotage, all these are the emergency. Anytime fire can happen, anytime explosion can happen, anytime any bomb threats can happen, blast can happen, chemical spills can happen, radiation leak can be happened. In case of flood, there are a lot of rains, rivers are overflooded, there are floods. It can happen. It is an emergency. How you are prepared. Then major environmental damages, it can happen, and it is happening, Then other hazards you will study further. What are the? I think previous chapter you have studied about the hazards, identification of hazards, right?
Yes.
So there are many other hazards could happen, like accident, car accident, road accident. Uh, in that case, what can happen? You have first aid, fall from height, somebody fall from the height. This is as well another hazard. So, what could happen? Emergency needs a rest. So, question arises: what could happen? How likely it is to happen? How severe could it be? How frequently could it occur? What should we do about it? As yesterday I told you, there is always checklist about the hazards, about the all these things, uh, and how you plan. Because planning for anything is very important. And do you have to see, do you have resources? If in case of fire, do you have resources? If in case of flood, do you have resources? In case of bomb explosion, do you have resources? If the fire is on the 17th story or 20th story building, do you have resources, enough cranes, sufficient water, sufficient fire hydrants or fire brigades? Enough? These are the study, You have to see it. Being the safety officer or safety in charge, you have to see it. If it is not there, so what could happen? So source of loss, we say PIM, PME. PME, people, equipment, material, environment. Okay? People, do we have enough sufficient people, staff? And potential emergencies are there? And do we have people? Do we have equipment? Do we have material? What material to face the hazard?
To face the hazard.
Yes, to face the accident, to face the thing, we need manpower, we need material, we need machines, and we have to see the environment to produce all these things. Is it suitable or not? Okay, so sources of loss is PME, PME, we say it. So people, equipment, material, environment. Again, material M, machines M, manpower M, triple M. Okay, do we have material?
Yes.
Do we have manpower? Do we have money? Okay, so do we have money to buy all these things? Do we have the money to manage all these things? No. Then how you will do fight the things, if you don't have the resources? So resources is very important, and we have to produce the sources for this plans. So emergency plan should include, what should include? Procedures. As I yesterday told you, the procedures very important. To have every action you should have a procedure, right from the start, scratch, till the end, the completion. Okay, so that you can
Yes, sir.
plan uh, big procedure and plan it. If there's no procedure, how you will do it? How your team will follow it? So procedure for reporting an emergency, we should prepare. You will have in the next chapters how to prepare the procedure for the emergencies. Then procedures to notify all personnel and define their participation. That's also procedure. What is the role of the project director? What is the role of HSC manager? What is the role of your top management, finance, then the client, how can support you in all aspects. You understand about this?
Yes, sir.
So, designation of a central control area. Uh, there should be always a controlling point in the organization, that this is the controlling point within the organizations. Then evacuation of the personnel in case of emergency must have an advanced evacuation, like a building, like a cinema hall, like a 5-star hotels or 7-star hotels, like uh, your offices. They should have the emergency exit in case of fire, and elevators, steps, stairs, staircases, so that in case of emergency, the people can evacuate, they can save their lives, So there should be always evacuation plan hanged in that area, that look, in case of emergency, you can escape and from these areas, okay?
Yes, sir.
Controller visitors and contractors during these emergencies, always control the visitors, okay? A detailed research and rescue plan should be there all the time, which should include for the rescue. If in case of emergency, how you can have the rescue, and what type of equipment you should be having that time in case of you are traveling in the aeroplane and there is an emergency. So you should have a parachute, you should have all the oxygen, everything with you, and be sure how to operate it. Okay, to save the life, to rescue yourself and the others as well. Okay, emergency plan should include, it is a continual detailed instructions for the shutdown procedure. Now, for example, if there is a fire, in that case, you must know, if this fire is from the gas, is fire from the oxygen, is the gas from the electricity, is this fire from another source, okay? So you have to switch off. In case of fire from the source of electricity, the main breaker should be immediately switched off. In case of gas, so the outside you have always keep the valve, immediately close that main valve, so that they should minimize the losses of the gas, right?
Yes.
So in case you should include your plan that in case of emergency, you should shut down such and such walls. There should be always gate walls. There should be always safety walls. There should be always fully equipped with these our appliances. In case of electricity, like you have a water heater, okay, and you see it is boiling because of some default, what you will do? You don't go close to that because it can blast and hurt you. There is a main breaker, okay? Always switch off the main breaker so that this power should be off, and you should save the life of the people. You can rescue it there, okay? Then hazardous material controls and information they should include in your emergency plan, the protection of vital equipment and materials, the re-entry and all clear procedures. So in your plan, how to prepare the plans you will study when you have your post as a supervisor, because this is the supervisor's job to prepare the plans to give his staff, right? But you should be aware with all these procedures, with all these instructions, with the shutdown procedures. In case of shutdown, there's a small shutdowns, there's a big shutdowns. Refinery shutdown, because it's a money matter. So during the operation, you have to change. You want to change a valve, you want to change some parts or something without closing the main source of your production. So this is always included in the plan, that how you will do it. Okay, what is your plans? What are your procedures? All right. So this is a very important factor in the safety as well, even in operations as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So next slide is off-site emergencies, transportation accidents, incidents, air, land and sea, hazardous discharge or releases, emergencies involving traveling employees. These are the off-site. Okay. So you will study further in details in the next chapters. What are the off-site emergencies? Okay. Then protective and rescue systems. Protective. In case of fire, what you should have the protection? Fire extinguishers, protection system, fire hydrants. Fire hydrants. So how many types of what type of fire is there? There is a fire with wood, fire with electricity, fire with gases, fire with the chemicals. So every type of fire you must know which type of fire is there and what type of fire extinguisher is required. You cannot put off the fire with water, every fire. For example, if it is on electricity fire, no, don't use water, okay? We have other extinctions. You will study in the next chapter what is fire and fire extinguishers and use of fire extinguishers, as well as the evacuation plan in case of fire, then the identification of the fire extinguishers, the kinds of the fire you will study in the next chapters. Okay. Haji.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you repeat it, please?